Welcome to Next Chapter Retirement, the podcast where we discuss smart strategies for building and protecting wealth, health, and well-being, helping retirees shape their next chapter into the best chapter. I'm your host, Mark Erickson, and each week we help you navigate the big decisions that shape your future, from health and financial planning to Medicare and lifestyle design and everything in between. Let's dive in.
Imagine you sit down to play this highly complex, really high-stakes board game.
Okay.
And you've been saving up your chips for like 40 years specifically to play this one game. You read the back of the box, you carefully set up your pieces, you make your very first move, and instantly the banker reaches across the table and just takes 1/10 of your chips.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's brutal.
Right. And it's not because you made a bad strategic move, and certainly not because you were careless. It happens because nobody handed you the actual rule book. The rules were completely invisible until the exact moment you broke them.
Yeah, and that invisible rule book is exactly what makes navigating the transition into retirement so incredibly frustrating for people.
Mm-hmm.
We see individuals who are otherwise just, meticulous, careful planners, people who have spreadsheeted their lives down to the penny, and suddenly they're facing denied claims or unexpected lifetime penalties.
Which is terrifying.
It is. But it is crucial to state right up front that the mistakes we are going to cover today, they rarely cause immediate spectacular financial ruin.
Right.
Like, this isn't a sudden bankruptcy.
It's not an explosion.
Exactly. Instead, these mistakes manifest as slow, compounding leaks in a retirement plan. They're quiet. They show up months or years later as a surprisingly high premium or, a penalty that stubbornly follows you for the rest of your life.
It's like you spend decades mapping out this beautiful financial fortress, and then you step inside, and there's a slow leak in the plumbing that you can't even see.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, welcome to this deep dive into the quiet, complex rules of Medicare. Today's mission is to pull back the curtain on 5 costly Medicare mistakes that really sneak up on retirees and drain their savings.
Yeah.
And we know you love gaining thorough knowledge without feeling, completely overwhelmed by a mountain of bureaucratic jargon, so you are in exactly the right place. Our goal today is to transform Medicare from a terrifying bureaucratic maze into a manageable, predictable system. Because armed with these insights, you can absolutely protect your financial future. So, okay, let's unpack this.
To really understand how to protect yourself, we have to start with the timeline, because the clock is where most people make their first unforced error.
Okay, let's hear it.
When you turn 65, the government opens a very specific 7-month window for you to enroll in Medicare. It's called your initial enrollment period.
Right.
It begins 3 months before the month you turn 65. It includes your birthday month, and then it runs for 3 months after, so 7 months total.
And, on paper, a 7-month window sounds like plenty of time, right?
It does.
But the trap here isn't a lack of time. It's a false sense of security, because a significant portion of people are still working at 65 or, their spouse is still working.
Right.
So they look at their current employer-provided health insurance and assume that because they have coverage, they can simply ignore Medicare Part B for now.
Which is a huge assumption.
Yeah, it is. And just as a quick refresher for everyone, Part A is your hospital insurance, which is usually premium-free because, you paid for it via payroll taxes your whole life.
Exactly.
Part B is your medical insurance. So this covers your doctor visits and outpatient care, and that one comes with a monthly premium. In 2026, the standard Part B premium is $202.90 a month.
And delaying that Part B can actually be a smart move, but only if you have the right kind of coverage.
The right kind, okay.
Yeah, so if you or your spouse are actively working for an employer with 20 or more employees and you get health insurance through that active employment, you can generally delay Part B without any issue.
Oh, that's good.
Right? You're granted a special enrollment period later on when you finally retire. But the danger arises because people assume any ongoing health coverage gives them a free pass to delay.
I see.
For example, retiree coverage and COBRA do not count as qualifying current employer coverage in the eyes of Medicare.
Wait, let me theorize on that for a second, because COBRA trips up so many people.
Oh, constantly.
Because COBRA is just a federal law that lets you keep your exact same employer health insurance temporarily after you leave your job, usually for about 18 months, right?
Yes, sir.
You're just paying the full premium yourself. So to a normal person, it feels like nothing has changed. You have the exact same insurance card in your wallet. Why wouldn't Medicare count that?
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism of how insurance risk pools function. Medicare's definition hinges on active employment.
Active being the key word.
Exactly. Once you sever ties with your employer and retire, Medicare wants you transitioning into their risk pool. COBRA is inherently temporary.
Right.
If Medicare allowed people to use temporary non-active coverage as an excuse to delay, it would disrupt their actuarial math. So if you're retired at 65, go onto COBRA, and think you're fully covered, the Medicare penalty clock is actually running silently in the background from day one.
Wow. And the math on that silent penalty is brutal. Like, this is the lifetime tax part of the equation.
It really is.
Because if you miss your enrollment window and you don't have that qualifying active employer coverage, Medicare hits you with a late enrollment penalty. It is a 10% increase in your Part B premium for every full 12-month period you miss.
Every single year.
Yeah. So let's run those 2026 numbers. If you delay for 2 years, that is a 20% penalty. 20% of that $202.90 premium is roughly $40 a month.
And that adds up.
Oh, it gets added to your premium every single month for the rest of your life. Over a 20-year retirement, you are looking at nearly $10,000 completely gone.
Just vanish.
It's like getting a compounding library fine that increases your taxes for the rest of your life just because nobody told you the book was due.
That is exactly what it feels like. Yeah. And, to understand why Medicare enforces such a strict penalty, we have to look at human psychology and systemic design.
Okay, how so?
Well, insurance only survives if healthy people pay into the system alongside sick people.
Mm-hmm.
If Medicare didn't permanently penalize delays, human nature dictates that most healthy 65-year-olds would simply save the $200 a month and wait until their knee gave out, or they needed a major surgery to sign up.
Right, which would bankrupt the system immediately.
Exactly. By enforcing a lifetime penalty, Medicare creates a massive financial incentive for continuous enrollment, which keeps the entire system solvent.
I mean, it makes complete logical sense from a systems perspective, even if it feels incredibly harsh to the individual.
Absolutely.
So the ultimate takeaway for your timeline is to never guess whether your current coverage qualifies. Verify it.
Yeah.
But let's say you navigated that timeline perfectly. You signed up on time, you avoided the lifetime tax, you're feeling good.
You're safe, right?
But this brings us to a major psychological hurdle for new retirees.
Right.
What exactly did you just buy? Because original Medicare, parts A and B together, it has a massive built-in flaw that catches people completely off guard.
And that flaw is the myth of 100% coverage. People transition from these robust corporate health plans and assume original Medicare functions the same way.
Right.
It does not. Medicare was never designed to be an absolute safety net. There are deductibles and copays involved.
Mm-hmm.
For context, in 2026, Part B has an annual deductible of $283.
Let me pause you there, though, because a $283 deductible actually sounds fantastic compared to most private plans today.
Oh, it does.
I mean, you pay the first $283 of your medical bills for the year, and then Medicare steps in. The problem isn't the deductible. The problem is what happens next.
Right.
Because after you meet that deductible, Medicare generally pays 80% of your approved medical costs. You are on the hook for the remaining 20%. And the terrifying part, like the real hidden trap, is that under original Medicare alone, there is absolutely no annual cap on that 20% out-of-pocket spending.
Zero ceiling.
None.
Whether your 20% responsibility is $500 or $50,000, original Medicare alone will not cap your losses.
Wait, isn't the whole fundamental point of insurance to prevent catastrophic financial ruin?
You would think so.
I mean, if there is no ceiling on a major surgery or an ongoing multi-year cancer treatment, how is original Medicare alone considered adequate coverage? Let's say you have a complicated hospital stay and surgeries that total $250,000.
Which happens.
Right. Your 20% share is $50,000. And there's literally nothing stopping that from happening year after year.
And your pushback is exactly why financial advisors consider relying solely on original Medicare to be one of the biggest risks a retiree can take.
It's a huge gamble.
It is. The government deliberately built the system with cost sharing to prevent overutilization of medical services. But the side effect is that structural uncapped gap. It essentially requires you to venture into the private market to buy supplementary coverage. You have to build your own safety net.
And the sources highlight two entirely different philosophies for building that net, right?
Yes, they do.
The first route is buying a Medicare supplement plan, which is widely known as Medigap. With Medigap, you pay a separate, predictable monthly premium to a private company, and in exchange, they cover that uncapped 20%. And the beauty of this is that you stay in original Medicare, meaning there are no localized networks.
Which is huge for people who travel.
Exactly. You can see literally any doctor or specialist in the United States who accepts Medicare.
Now, the alternative philosophy is a Medicare Advantage plan, or Part C.
Okay.
With Advantage, a private insurance company essentially takes over the administration of your Medicare benefits. These plans are heavily marketed because they often feature very low or even $0 monthly premiums.
Which catches everybody's eye.
Oh, of course. And they bundle in extra perks that original Medicare ignores, like dental cleanings or vision coverage. However, the mechanism behind those low premiums is restricted access.
Right, the catch.
Exactly. They operate like HMOs or PPOs.
Okay.
You are required to use their specific localized networks of doctors. You generally need permission in the form of referrals to see specialists, and you pay copays for services as you go.
But the critical difference, the mechanism that actually fixes the flaw we just talked about, is that Advantage plans are legally required to have an out-of-pocket maximum. They cap the catastrophic risk.
They do. So deciding between the two really requires a hard look at your own risk tolerance and lifestyle. Do you value the absolute predictability of a Medigap plan where you pay a higher premium up front but never have to worry about a network when you travel?
Right.
Or do you prefer the lower upfront costs of an Advantage plan, accepting that if you get seriously ill, you'll be navigating network restrictions and paying copays until you hit that maximum?
You just have to choose one.
Exactly. Assuming you don't need either is the real mistake here.
So, okay, you've successfully capped your catastrophic risk for hospital stays and doctors. But day to day, the thing that relentlessly drains retirees' pockets often isn't the hospital at all. It's the pharmacy counter.
Absolutely.
The rules governing prescription drugs in Medicare are incredibly counterintuitive. Let's look at the silent penalties lurking in your pill cabinet, specifically focusing on what happens when healthy people try to save a few bucks.
This revolves around Medicare Part D, which is your prescription drug coverage. The most common trap here is skipping Part D entirely because you don't take any medications right now.
Which makes sense.
It is a perfectly logical assumption. People think, I run 3 miles a day, my medicine cabinet has nothing but vitamin C in it, so why on earth would I pay a monthly premium for drug coverage?
It's totally logical until you read the fine print. Just like with the Part B penalty, if you go 63 days or more without what Medicare considers creditable drug coverage after you're first eligible, a permanent penalty starts accruing.
And the calculation for this penalty is highly specific.
Yep.
It is 1% of the national base premium for every single month you went without coverage.
Okay.
In 2026, the national base premium is $38.99.
So a 1% penalty on roughly $39 is about 39 cents a month. To a lot of people, 39 cents sounds like a rounding error, but let's play that out. If you wait 5 years to sign up because you stayed healthy, that is 60 months. Now you have a permanent 60% penalty.
It adds up fast.
Yeah, you are adding about 23 $12 to your monthly drug premium every single month for life once you finally do enroll.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it fundamentally changes how you should view that initial Part D enrollment. When you are totally healthy, you shouldn't view a low-cost Part D premium as paying for drugs you don't need.
What are you paying for then?
You are essentially buying insurance against the penalty itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're paying a minimal fee today to lock in continuous coverage, protecting your future self for the day when a doctor suddenly prescribes an expensive daily medication.
That reframing is brilliant. You aren't buying drug coverage, you're buying penalty insurance. But let's say you understand that, and you go to pick a plan. The next trap is sorting your options by price and choosing the absolute cheapest monthly premium, assuming you've made the frugal choice.
This is a devastating illusion because it ignores the actual mechanism of how drug plans work. In Medicare, the premium is only half the story.
Right.
The other half is the formulary. That's the highly specific list of drugs that a particular plan agrees to cover and the tiers they place those drugs on.
This feels exactly like buying a car purely because the monthly payment is unbelievably cheap, only to drive it off the lot and realize it requires a highly specific, rare type of fuel that no gas station in your entire state actually sells.
That's exactly it.
I mean, what good is a cheap car if you can't drive it? What good is a cheap health plan if it completely refuses to cover the one daily blood thinner you need to survive?
To expand on your car analogy, the reason that specific gas station doesn't carry your fuel is because of behind-the-scenes negotiations. Insurance companies use pharmacy benefit managers to negotiate exclusive rebates with specific drug manufacturers. So if your plan didn't negotiate a good deal for your specific medication, they simply won't cover it. Or they'll penalize you by placing it on a specialty tier that requires you to pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket.
Ouch.
Yeah, two completely different plans. Part D plans could have the exact same $20 monthly premium, but one might cover your specific pill for a $5 copay, while the other charges you $300 a month.
The premium is literally a mirage. So the solution here requires reverse engineering. You cannot start with the price tag. You have to start by writing down every single medication you take, the exact dosage, and the specific pharmacies you prefer to use.
Yes.
Then you cross-reference that list against the available plans. The monthly premium should literally be the last variable you look at, not the first.
Exactly right. The plan has to fit the reality of your medicine cabinet, not an idealized version of your budget.
Okay, let's take a breath because, you are doing great. You've mastered the enrollment timelines. You plugged that terrifying 20% gap with supplementary coverage. You bought a Part D plan to block the healthy penalty, and you reverse engineered your drug list to find the right formulary.
Sounds like you're all set.
On the health side, your fortress is secure. But there is a trapdoor waiting for you, and it's hidden inside your tax returns.
Uh-oh.
Let's talk about getting blindsided by IRAA.
IRMA is one of those acronyms that just strikes fear into the hearts of financial planners.
I bet.
It stands for the Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. Stripped of the jargon, it is a financial surcharge added to both your Part B and your Part D premiums if the government considers you a higher income earner.
And the government's definition of higher income might be lower than you think. Let's look at the hard 2026 numbers. We established that the standard Part B premium is $202.90. But if your income goes above certain thresholds, specifically above $109,000 for a single filer or above $218,000 for a married couple filing jointly, that surcharge kicks in, and it operates on a sliding scale.
A very steep sliding scale.
Very steep. At the very highest income tiers, your standard Part B premium can skyrocket from $202.90 all the way to nearly $690 a month per person.
That $690 is a monthly hit per person. So a married couple at the highest tier is paying nearly $1,400 a month just for basic outpatient coverage.
That's wild.
But the real trap here, the reason we call it a ghost, is the mechanism Medicare uses to determine your income. They do not look at what you are earning right now.
Wait, what?
Your 2026 IRMAA surcharge is calculated based on your tax return from 2 years prior. They are looking at your 2024 income.
That 2-year lag is wild, and it is the source of so much pain. It means a one-time financial move you made years ago can suddenly detonate in your mailbox today. Let's talk about Roth conversions as an example. Say you decide to move a chunk of money from a traditional pre-tax IRA over to a Roth IRA so it can grow tax-free in the future.
Very common strategy.
Right. The IRS considers the amount you converted as taxable income for that year. So on paper, your income spikes massively. You pay the taxes, you think you're done, and then 24 months later, Medicare sends you a letter demanding $690 a month.
It happens constantly with Roth conversions, or when people sell a family home or cash out stock to pay for a grandchild's college tuition.
Wow.
People view these events as routine wealth management or even cause for celebration. But because of that 2-year look-back mechanism, they inadvertently trigger a massive delayed Medicare bill.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I imagine Social Security has a very strict definition of what they will and won't forgive.
They do.
What if you had a massive income year in 2024, specifically because you sold a business to fund your retirement, but now it is 2026, you are no longer working, and you're living on a modest fixed income? Are you just stuck paying maximum premiums because of something you did 2 years ago?
You are not permanently stuck, but you have to be proactive. The government will reconsider your IRMAA status, but only if you can prove you have experienced what they classify as a life-changing event.
I'm guessing a great year in the stock market doesn't count.
It absolutely does not. Capital gains or a one-time property sale are not life-changing events in their eyes. They are just good financial years.
Okay.
However, retiring and stopping work completely is a recognized life-changing event. So the death of a spouse, a divorce, or the loss of a pension.
Gotcha.
If your current income has drastically dropped due to one of those specific events, you can file an appeal. You essentially ask them to recalculate your premium based on your reality today rather than the ghost of your tax return from 2 years ago.
This completely shatters the way most people think about retirement. We have this tendency to treat health planning and financial planning as two completely separate folders sitting on different sides of the desk.
We really do.
You have your wealth advisor over here and your health insurance broker over there. IRMAA proves that separation is a dangerous illusion.
Yes.
IRMAA is the exact intersection where your taxes, your investment strategies, and your health insurance violently collide. You have to actively manage which side of those income thresholds you land on before you make a big financial move.
It requires holistic planning. Knowing where those IRMAA cliffs are allows you to pace your wealth strategies, like maybe spreading a large Roth conversion over several years instead of doing it all at once so you don't trigger the surcharge.
It really is all deeply connected. So let's bring all this together because we have navigated some serious bureaucratic mazes today.
We have.
We started with the enrollment clock, learning that you have to actively manage your 7-month window, and understanding the hard truth that temporary coverage like COBRA will not protect you from a compounding lifetime penalty.
Right.
We tackled the myth of 100% coverage, realizing that original Medicare's uncapped 20% gap requires you to proactively choose between the predictability of a Medigap plan or the network structure of an Advantage plan.
Then we moved to the pharmacy counter, where we learned that buying a cheap Part D plan when you were healthy is actually a brilliant way to insure yourself against future penalties. And we learned to always lead with our actual medication list, not the monthly premium, to avoid falling into a formulary trap.
And finally, we faced the 2-year ghost of IRMAA, discovering that a one-time financial windfall today can drastically inflate your Medicare premiums 24 months from now, proving that wealth management and health management are ultimately the exact same thing.
They are.
The common thread running through all of these scenarios isn't a lack of intelligence. It is purely a lack of visibility into the mechanics of the rules. So what does this all mean? It means that by understanding the why and the how behind these systems today, you are doing so much more than just checking off a bureaucratic to-do list. You are effectively buying back your own peace of mind and tens of thousands of dollars for your future self.
Knowledge really is the best insurance policy. When you understand the mechanisms behind the board game before you sit down to play, it stops feeling like you're at the mercy of the banker.
Right.
The game becomes manageable.
I love that perspective. Which brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with, something to mull over as you go about the rest of your day. We just saw how Medicare premiums are increasingly tied to tax returns from 2 years in the past, and how your day-to-day medical coverage is hyper-dependent on these ever-changing, deeply complex negotiations between insurance companies and drug manufacturers. With all of that intricate cross-wiring between your wealth and your health, are we approaching an era where retirement health planning isn't something you do at 64, but a strategic maneuver you literally have to start in your 40s just to afford the rules of getting older? Think about your own invisible rulebook. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Next Chapter Retirement Podcast. Please like and subscribe and share this with anyone planning their next chapter. For help navigating Medicare, you can find helpful resources and connect with our team at nextchapterpod.com. Until next time, plan wisely and live fully.